Okay, stream should be open. Not sure. Let's go in here real quick. Update this. Right. So now it should be all set up. Visibility. Public. Right. I want to check a couple of things. Law from Maryland. Yo, what's up, brother, man? Good to have you here. Back to Twitch real quick. Let's see something. Am I also live on Twitch? Because I've been doing that for the past 2 hours, and I'm trying to basically stream both on Twitch and also on YouTube. But as it looks like that is not working. Anyways, then I hope it's going to be uh, it's going to be fine with what's it called, with YouTube at least. Yeah, guys. Right from the start, we're about to start the entire analysis. Share the video. I mean the live stream with somebody. Share. Like the stream. So we're going to get a couple of people in here. Mm. Is the audio fine? Can you hear me well? Everything should be set up. Yeah, for some reason I'm not able to stream both on Twitch and on YouTube. There's like a whole thing on itself, I guess. But yeah. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. I hope so that the mic is better. What's up, brother? Abel Memo. What's up? May grandson. My grandson, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So we still have sort of whenever you speak it closer to the mic. Yeah, brother, it's kind of a hard thing because I'm also looking away from the thing, from the screen, and that's why I can do it like so. The recordings is a little bit of a different thing because there I can basically, what's it called? There I can do the compressor and all of that kind of stuff. Here I just can't do that. You know? So this is what we currently have. This is the account. Now, yesterday, what's up, my man? My grandma that passed away. My grandma that passed away. Okay, okay, okay. Got you, man. Sorry for your loss. Uh, what we yesterday had, and guys, I told you this is a high risk account. Don't take this trade. I've still seen people who still took this trade, and guys, please don't do that. I only advise to take your CHF, and that's it. If you are taking more than the one that I'm advising you, and it's kind of on you. I told you that. Don't do that, man. Um, but anyways, so we had your CHF that was a take profit. AUD wasn't. Then also we had another win. I remember. I think it was AUD, NZD. Ah, no, that's still running. Never mind. They're still running, but we're probably going to take another trade today, and it's probably going to be a short. I'm going to start the analysis. I think it's cried. Quite enough people rip. Yeah, man, that happens. On this account, I'm just taking very high risky setups just to build up a buffer. And even if it's blown, what is it going to do? 20 bucks. When flipping accounts, you have to risk a lot initially, and then after that, you can do a little bit more risk management. So let's start with USCHF. If we're going to go into the daily time frame, are we going for the previous day low or for the previous day high? Appreciate you, bro. For real, man. probably for the previous day low, right? Because we're already trading lower. Now there's a little bit of a problem because this entire candle has no wick onto the upside. And a lot of times when that happens, this candle is going to get revisited, right? So, and actually we have two of them on the hourly chart. So this is pretty likely that we're going to revisit that. Let me check how the position will be looking like if we would be taking it to the downside. It's kind of bugging right now. But I can already tell you that's either way, that's just overshooting to take profit by way too much. So we're not going to take this one. UGBP, just wanted to check this. Yeah, kind of a 50-50 scenario. Can't really tell if we're going for the low, for the high. It's not really good. Trade to take because we have the previous day high, but we also have the previous day low, and we're just far away from both of these, right? Preferably probably to the previous day high because we've already traded into this FEG, taking out liquidity. That's going to Wednesday. This is going to be your Tuesday low, and then from here we could expect higher prices combined with the weekly time frame. And I'm actually probably just going to be a high risk trade. This one I also don't recommend everybody to be taking. This is only going to be on me and on my high risk account in that sense. So we're going to remove everything. Let's go into the weekly real quick. Nah, I'm not trusting that. Previous day high, previous day low. This is even more of a 50-50 scenario, but in here we at least have the previous week high, which we want to trade into, combined with the relative equal highs. This is why there's a little bit of a different scenario. And here it's just really a 50-50 scenario, no matter how you twist it. AUD USD, also 50-50. And we have already traded into previous day highs, also no trade. This one is kind of the same scenario which we have on Euro GBP. We're probably going to trade higher because of the previous week high. But judging from the daily chart alone, once again, this is also not a favorable trade to take. And also, if we would take in a trade, it would take a little bit longer to actually play out. But since we don't even have to reach 10 pips, also okay to take. So we pretty much have Euro GBP, USD, CHF, and also let's check the other pair. This is still the trade that is ongoing. We have almost no wick onto the upside, so probably also going to go higher. But even if not, it's not a big deal. NZD USD, is that looking like? So on the daily time frame, going previous day high or previous day low. I mean, we already have the relative lows in here. This is what I don't like. Right from the start, this is liquidity that needs to be taken out. There's going to be internal liquidity and there's going to be external liquidity. And also this entire price action gap. Okay, now the chart is getting real messy. This entire price action gap has not been traded into. So no matter how you twist it, I wouldn't really like to trade that. Even if we had a very big bullish candle onto the upside, because yes, we also have external liquidity higher. This is not something that I would like to participate because there's a lot of reasons for you to go to the downside, but also a lot of reasons for you to go to the upside. And you wouldn't really want to participate in that one. So I'm only going to take Euro GBP. It's going to be a long. Once again, I mean, I can't repeat myself too often because people will be coming up and saying, man, that trade hit a loss. For this day, you wouldn't really want to participate in any of the trades that I'm taking. However, we're still going to the analysis and I'm still going to give you my logic in that sense on how I'm trading this. But as a general thing, I don't recommend. I don't recommend it because can't repeat myself too often enough. I'm just doing a high risk account. All of these trades I'm also not taking on my regular accounts. If it's going to be a personal account, if it's going to be prop firm accounts, I'm not going to take it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I mean, if you have a very high risk account as well, you know, like 10 bucks, okay, you can go for it. All right, it doesn't matter then. So we're going to aim for our stop loss that's more than 50 pips. We're going to base it off of here. It's quite okay. It doesn't have to be exactly 50 pips. And that's how the trade will be looking like. The good thing is we don't even have to reach all the way to the previous day high in order for a take profit to get hit. And we are able to endure quite a bit of drawdown in this level of price action. So all in all, I think it's okay to take it like that. So it's going to be the first trade. Then USD CHF was the next trade, if I remember. Yeah, because we wanted to trade into the previous week high combined with the gap. We're probably not going to go for the previous week low. So that's also okay to take it like that. And yeah, we're just going to base it off from here. There's also sort of a benefit for us because we don't even have to reach all the way to the previous day high in order for a take profit to get hit. So it's also a good thing to have. Let's go into the 4 hour time frame. Look out for some kind of stop loss. Can be this low. Right, I'm trying to aim for 50 pips, but if there's some kind of low or an NFVG, something that suggests that we can put our stop loss in there, then I like to take that as well. So from here, we're simply just going to take the trade. It's going to be 0 EM candle. So it was USD CHF and also Euro GBP. Right, for Euro GBP, I'm gonna do a limit order. USD CHF, I'm gonna do a market order because we've already moved a little bit lower. So this is going to be the mini account. I've already lost a trade, it's okay. So where is it going to be? We wanted to trade USD CHF. Man, am I blind? Okay, it's just not there. Never mind. USD CHF 0.01 buy market. Okay. Okay, it has already moved a little bit lower, but it's okay. Euro GBP. I'm just going to set up a limit order in here. Entry price. Euro GBP. Market order. Stop loss going to be this entire thing. And then take profit is going to be this one. Going to place it just like that. This was 0.01. Was it? Did we do it? Yes. So now we're going to do the stop loss for the other one because we don't want to trade without a stop loss. I'm just doing it so we're taking a limit order just so we're getting safely in that sense. So this was the one for USD CHF. Stop loss right in here. Take profit. And yeah, that's basically done. So let's go to orders. This is our current Euro GBP order. We have to wait it out. Now this is a very important thing for the trade in that sense. Hang on. Gotta check something real quick. Yeah, so if the trade is going to hit the take profit for Euro GBP because this is a limit order, right? If that happens, very important, guys. If we're going to trade like that and never get into our entry, then a trade has to be closed because the original take profit has already been hit. Sometimes the market likes to do stuff like this. It goes into the take profit of 10 pips usually, and then it's just going to trade lower, right? So by the time you're going to get filled, the move is already over to trade higher. Now in this case, it's probably not going to happen because we have the previous week high. We have the liquidity higher to trade onto the upside. But all in all, it's very important that you're going to keep that in mind, and it's going to avoid a lot of losses. So yeah, man, for some reason I'm not able to stream on Twitch as well. I have no idea what that is the case. If anybody has some knowledge for that. I remember Ahmed joined in. Are you still there, brother? If you could help me out with some stuff to actually trade or stream on Twitch and also YouTube at the same time. I tried setting it up, but it's not working, I guess. But there it goes. We're not going to hit the take profit before we're going to get filled. Oftentimes that is not going to happen, but there is of course always the chance with DCHF. Yeah, I mean, let's just quickly rewind. So if we're going to hit a win on AUD USD, in an ideal scenario, so AUD USD, that's 1-1, it's 1-2, and then potentially your GBP, that's going to be 1-3. Yeah, that is almost going to bring us back to 20. So it's going to take us like not 10 days, because a lot of people believe that with a negative versus reward, it's going to take you 10 days or 20 days or a month to make losses back, which is not the case, of course. If you're just going to take enough trades, I mean, the market conditions are just not totally ideal to take in that sense. But if you're just going to take multiple trades, then it's still going to be fine, and you're able to take enough trades. Yeah, so a lot of the times what I noticed, and this is not only for the stream right now, but for YouTube videos to basically anything, right? Every time that you're taking, anytime that the trade has already been taken or the strategy has been explained, everybody just leaves, right? Which I understand, because when I watch videos, and it doesn't even have to be trading, right? I mean, to be honest, I don't even watch any trading videos for a very long time. Besides, if it's doing it for a YouTube video or I'm doing some research on how to optimize videos and that kind of stuff. But generally, I really don't watch trading videos personally anymore. I used to, of course. And what is up? Yeah, and when there's something that is not interesting, then of course I just click off, right? And it's the same that happens to me basically. But when I started doing YouTube and also now the live streaming and whatnot, I thought to myself, damn, every time that I click off a video, that's bad watch time for this guy. It's not that I just stay there just because so he can get a good watch time. I don't really mind that. But as a general thing, right? It's just in the back of my mind, and previously I never really cared about that. Also, there's a little bit of an interesting scenario what we have going on in here. Because if we're going to go into the 1 hour time frame, there's like, I don't know, like 5 effigies that have to be refilled. So you get to like your regular effigy for anybody that is new, right? This is your regular effigy, candle number 1, candle number 2, candle number 3. If there's a gap between candle number 1 and 3, there's a fair value gap. If you're going to extend that and the entire fair value gap goes beyond multiple effigies, then that's a BPR range. Now the crazy part in here is that this is like a crazy BPR. If there would be enough margin left, I would be willing to take this trade, to be honest, because it's quite high probability we're going to trade higher. You know, BPRs like that are so rare to occur. Think about Martingale, your profit, not loss. What specific do you mean? Like, I'm aware what Martingale is, but what are you specifically referring to? Martingale, you mean just on the personal account, on the menu account, just risking more in that sense? Are you talking about that? Yeah, that's like an option, but not really sure about that one. I think we can't even do Martingale right now because we are already risking like 30% or something on every single trade. So if we're going to lose, let me check how much is that going to be. It's going to be like 650. That's even more than 30%. And if we're going to lose, we're going to do risking 60%, right? Even more than 60%. And the problem in there is just that then we can't take multiple positions. Then we are only allowed to trade one pair and maybe another pair with 30% risk. But, you know, I get where you come from. I don't, personally, I am not entirely against Martingale. A lot of people, they're thinking, you know, Martingale is just trash on its own. And a lot of the times it is trash because people don't use it correctly. But on its own, Martingale can be profitable, right? Or how do I explain this? I mean, Martingale can be profitable. Martingale only works if you are profitable to begin with. But I just believe that there is a place for Martingale because it allows you to, when you're going to lose a trade, you're going to recover the loss faster. Now, of course, if you're going to lose another time, of course, you're going to lose more. But as long as you're able to recover faster, then you're basically, then your losing period in that sense, the Martingale is quite worth it to do. Because it's always a compromise. It's always a compromise in trading. It has never been a thing where there's like one good way. It's always going to be a compromise. If you don't want to be in a large drawdown period, then you need to trade a low risk reward. If you want to sort of win big when you're very right on the trade, then of course a high risk reward will be something you'll be liking the trade. Now, of course, my entire channel is surrounded by the negative RR, and I don't believe that trading a high risk reward is sustainable over a very long period of time. There have been people doing it. Yes, there is unicorns like that, but what are the chances that you are going to be that unicorn, right? And this is also the thing, you don't have to be a unicorn in order to make money in trading, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can really just do what has previously been working, and that's it. What I mean is, when you make money, invest it again till you reach some win streak. Well, but that's compounding, brother. Maybe we're just not understanding each other because it's just chatting, right? But I think you're referring back to compounding, not martingale. Because martingale is when you lose, you're risking double the amount. While, yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to be a unicorn to be profitable with a 1 for 10. Okay, 1 for 10 is even way too unrealistic. I don't think even a unicorn is going to be profitable with a 1 for 10 over the long run, right? I'm always referring back to the long run because you can be profitable for a little bit of time and you might catch even 2 10-hour trades in a row, right? But then over a long period of time, you will be losing. We've talked about this a lot of times on the channel, and it's just the truth, right? You can't neglect that. It's based off of facts and not just pull out of my asshole. But yeah, brother, what I think you're referring back to is compounding. So basically winning, reinvesting everything that you have made, and then doing that over and over again. I think that's what you mean, right? Pretty sure. Because martingale is just losing. So let's just say I risk on the very first trade. Hang on. So let's just say on the very first trade, I'm going to lose a trade. And that was like 1% risk. And so the next trade is going to be 2%, simple as that, right? Which in a negative risk reward scenario, this is going to take you more than just one trade to recover that first loss. But yeah, it is going to speed up being in a drawdown, definitely. But if the win rate is so low that you can expect to lose like what 10 different times in a row. At this point, saying 10 different times in a row sounds so cringe, but it's just really true, right? It's really true. I know martingale, it's called anti-martingale, same with compounding. Oh, okay. So that's what you call compounding, I guess, like a different word, anti-martingale. Interesting to know. So what I was about to say, I forgot what I was about to say. Happens quite often. So yeah, I remember what I was about to say. When your win streak is already pretty, when you can expect to lose like 5 different times in a row, then martingale is not the way to go. But in a low risk reward scenario, I think martingale is definitely practical. You can use it. Now, of course, with a low risk reward, that also doesn't mean that you have a very, very high win rate. Because with a low risk reward, let's just say you're trading at 0.5, you can expect to have something like a 70 to 80% win rate. Anything higher than that is, I mean, probably maybe possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but practically, because you also have to look at this way. There's always going to be your break-even point, right? So when you're trading a 1-for-1, break-even point is going to be 50%, right? We all know that. Now with a 0.2 RR, it was, if I remember, 83%. Yeah, should be 83% off the top of my head. So, and you cannot be above your break-even point by, let's just say, 30%, which in this case, it's not like, no matter how I twist it, it's not possible, because what are you going to have, like 110% win rate or what? But if you get my point, so if you're trading a 1-for-1 and you have a 50% win rate, your win rate is not going to be 80%. That's already beyond practicality. That's beyond what is possible. So if you're going to trade a 0.2 risk reward, then of course you're not going to have like a 110% win rate. So practically, you can only be above your break-even point by, let's just say, 15%, somewhere around that range. Anything higher than that is either like unicorn smartest man on earth. Anything under doesn't go above 90% of the time. Yeah, I agree with that. Anything that is sort of, because it also makes sense what you just said, out of the risk reward table. I mean, hang on, let me check it out. I think that I can explain it to you better in here. Wait a second. So we have this entire table as always. Let me quickly check it out. And by the way, if you're interested in this entire mind map on my website, it's for free for you to get. Okay, just on my website, and then on top in the center it's going to say services, and then there it's going to say free resources. I'm going to also show you that in just a bit. So if you're going to here, so on my website, go to services, free resources, and then you can basically get my entire mind map if you are interested in that. So what I wanted to originally explain is this thing, right? There's also a video that's going to come up soonly. Yeah, I saw this. Saw your old videos, everything. By the way, how did you come up with the idea of are we going for the previous day high, previous day low? It's genius. Rather appreciated. I mean, okay, I'm gonna get into that in just a bit. First things first, we have the break-even point, right? So as I said, it's 33% with a 0.2. And what you just said is absolutely true. With a 0.3, I mean, it's not showing it in here, but that would be already the category where we are way above our break-even point, right? So what I explained to you earlier, 1-for-1, 50%, you're not going to have an 80% win rate with a 1-for-1. You can expect something like a 55%, 60%, 65%, maybe at most 70%. I don't really think that there's anything that's going to be above. And 70% with a 1-for-1 is already unicorn type of scenario. So this basically what we have gotten into, correct? So so for anybody that's not watching the chat, my brother just asked, by the way, how did you come up with the idea of are we going for the previous day high, previous day low? Is genius. So as a general thing, right? When I just looked at the charts, and this was on any single pair, right? Every single pair, I noticed something, and it's so obvious, right? It's so obvious. We all know that. We see it every single day. Every single day we are seeing it, that either the previous day low, previous day high is going to be taken out. But the more interesting part is that when is it not going to do that? So the likelihood of it, so there's basically 4 scenarios. There's also a video that's going to come up explaining this in more detail. This is just a little bit of a crash course. So if you have the previous day high and previous day low, very rarely you are going to have a day like this where we have not gone for the previous day high and not gone for the previous day low. This is the rare scenario number 1. The second rare scenario is going to be that you're going to go for both days, right? So let me check that. Here you have a day like that. We've gone for the previous day high, but also for the previous day low. And these 2 scenarios are way less likely than having the previous day low or previous day high be taken out, right? So basically, right from the start, you are already putting yourself at a 50-50 scenario instead of just trying to guess with like multiple different FEGs, multiple different, I don't know, whatever it's going to be on where the daily buy is going to be. And the second thing, what I also noticed is that when you already have a candle trading into one direction, most of the times the second candle is also going to be in that one direction in that sense, right? Because consecutive candles also play a role. If you're having 2 candles of one direction, the likelihood of the next candle also going to go in that direction, or it doesn't even have to be the same color. So let me quickly rewind. You have one black color, another black color. The second candle is probably also going to be a black color. Now it wasn't in that case, but at least we have gone for the previous candle low. This applies to basically every single time frame, but it's just mostly used on a daily chart because the daily chart is just a psychological level. Everybody sees the daily chart pretty much the same way. The previous day high and previous day low are mostly going to be at the same levels, and there's not even that broker dependent. Sometimes there is going to be the case where on one broker, the previous day low has been taken out, and in another, it hasn't. but that's also more of a rare occurrence. So Abel Memo was saying, yeah, I saw all of your videos, everything. Appreciate that, brother. I hope it could help you in your journey. And then also he was saying that, hang on. And also he was saying, that's my point. I trade targeting previous day high, I guess, and low recently, but upsetting how we didn't came up with this early. ICT successfully wasted my time, but you know everything is for good. Did ICT is, hang on, let me pull him up real quick. I mean, ICT does have some good insights here and there, but overall, I think you can agree with me, this is just nonsense. Like, let's go onto his page real quick. But I'm not going to play the video because I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not allowed that. I might get a strike or something. If we're going to look at this is just entirely BS in that sense. He has a level for, or he has an explanation for every single thing that is happening. That is the problem. Not everything that has happened or that has not happened has a logical reason to build off from. This is the point. But what he is trying to do, right? So he is going to go onto the chart. And he's going to show you, well, this entire move happened because we had some kind of random invented shit in here. We had some kind of random invented shit in here. And another one in here. And if you're going to draw the 50% of that, then out of the 50%, you're going to do the quarter of that. And out of the quarter, you're going to draw a unicorn, okay? Then you're going to get it's that kind of unicorn. Then you're going to trade lower. This is the problem with ICT, right? If there's too many rules, if there's too many reasons on why to take a trade, if you cannot explain it within 5 minutes, and it's probably not going to work. Now, granted, of course, my videos are going longer than 5 minutes because I go into much detail and much insight. But right now, I can give you the entire sort of explanation of what I do on a day-to-day basis. We have just done that, right? 15 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago when we have taken these trades, this is what we have done, right? How long did it take for me to analyze? Hang on. Very quick. How long did it take me to analyze the charts? Was it like 20 minutes or 30 minutes explaining, yeah, we have this kind of high, we have this kind of low, but then we have an FEG in here? No, we have basically analyzed multiple different pairs within 5 or 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes, right? And this is how trading should be. It should be simple, it should be fast, and should be repeatable. Yeah, that another thing I noticed is that people's psychology, sorry for the spelling, move the market, not algorithm. Yeah, man, I agree with you. Psychological levels are definitely a thing, and now you don't have to be excusing yourself for the spelling. I get that. You know, I'm also not natively from America or something like that, so my spelling is also not the greatest. But to be honest, my spelling is not good in any language. I was never really that great at it. Not gonna lie with you. Yeah. There's not really a point where I can put my face cam in, to be honest, because if I put it at the bottom left, there's also going to be some that is covered top right. I'm covering the entire watch list. There's like no point where if I do a top left and we're covering the pair that we are on right now, maybe bottom right, would you say? Maybe the bottom right will be it actually. I don't really see something important that is on the bottom right. Let me see. CTrader will be covering up something important. Maybe the PNL we will be covering up the current running trades. Yeah, I mean there's just kind of no logical level to put it into for the face cam. My man is laughing, man. Able Memo. Yeah, man, I've been seeing you for quite some time on the channel, man. Really appreciate the support. I hope I could help you with everything that I'm trying to teach. You know, of course, you're already familiar with the Aristi Award things, right? But it's always good having a refresh. And If you have any people that are just not familiar with the Versity Award, with a negative Versity Award in that sense, feel free to share it. Spread the word if you appreciate what I'm doing. That would be fire. Yeah. Abel Memo is saying unicorn, huh? People are looking for the secret sauce of the market, and then they want the rainbows, roses, and butterfly. Negative RR is the sauce. Now for Alien, negative RR is the way to go. And also, I've seen so many traders trying to trade a high risk award, yet they are not profitable. So logically, right? If I'm a trader who's been trading a positive risk award, so something very big, for a very long period of time, and it has not been working for me, how dumb must I be to actually hate on somebody who is actually profitable? And then I'm just hating on him because he's trading a negative risk reward. Now, okay, let's just even say in the scenario where I am not a profitable trader, right? I am not even profitable, and you're just looking at trading from perspective that you've not been profitable for a very long time. So out of logic, the first thing that I would do is say, okay, then I have to switch things up. Maybe I have to do something differently than I've been doing all of these years in order to be profitable. Yet these kids don't understand that. They don't think of that possibility. Well, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe whatever I've been doing so far has not been worked. Let me try out something different, which is going to be negative versus reward ratio. And they don't even give it a try, right? They don't even have this option in their head. Well, I could be at least giving it a try, and if it doesn't work out, so what? High RR has also not worked out for me, so there's basically nothing to lose in that sense. So AOMM was also saying, I have been following you because I know the power of negative versus reward. Yes, there we go. I have internet buddy with 44 win streak, negative RR. That was when I said Jesus. Yes, man. 44 0.35 in crypto. Yeah, nobody wants it. That is what I'm telling you. That is what I'm telling about. There's people going on extreme winning streaks, right? Even my brother don't want it. You mean like your actual brother, or just like internet brother in that sense, who doesn't want to go for a negative RR? Yeah, so the thing is, as you are just saying, whoever your internet friend is, right? He's going on a high winning streak simply because he's trading a negative versus reward, and people are just not open enough to try this out because they believe they know it better. And what am I going to do if I'm going to lose? Then I have to recover it in 10 different days. I mean, it's not the case. You don't have to recover it in 10 different days. You can take multiple trades. Yeah, your actual brother, get that. I get it. So, and also, it's just that I specialize on Forex, right? You can trade any market in that sense. You can trade crypto. Um, Ghostware has been killing it in crypto specifically. It's one of my students. Then futures works on all markets. You don't only have to trade Forex. It's just Forex, what I specialize on, what I have backtested the most. I've done more than 1,000 trades. And yeah. So Abel Memo is asking, how did you came up with the idea of negative versus reward? Pretty much the same what I've explained previously with the guys that are not willing to trade a higher risk reward, right? It's kind of the opposite. So I was unprofitable. No, I was profitable. I mean, with a high risk reward too, but I wasn't going for a 10-hour trade, right? I was going for more so of a one for 1.5, maybe a 1 for 2, nothing extreme in that sense. But I never liked the drawdown period, so I made money, but then 3 months I was not in profit. So if we're going to look at this table, right, with something like that, I mean, or let me go to Miro actually and explain it in here. So this 2026, let's just say we're just starting off, we're trading a little bit, and I never liked that. Even though I made very great gains in that sense, I am going to go into a heavily drawdown period. And for 3 months, like straight up just 3 months, I didn't make any money whatsoever. Now, eventually, I am going to climb this back up. But this entire period, this is just ass. Who really wants to trade this? And then I thought to myself, okay, that means that I need a higher win rate, right? This was the first thing that came to mind. I need a higher win rate in order to avoid this from happening. Now, and then sort of you see, so I'm basically connecting the things. So large drawdown period, right? Then I was thinking, okay, what do I need for that? I need a high win rate. And what do I need for that? How do I get a high win rate is the question. By lowering my risk to reward. Now, how do I lower my risk to reward? Of course, trading a negative risk to reward, and then this is basically the present where we're here right now, right? This is basically how I got into a risk to reward. But what about you? How did you get into a risk to reward? Was it maybe a friend, something like that got you into it? How did you get into a risk to reward? Because you don't really see a lot of traders, coming up with that idea. I also have one friend, also joined Discord. He's called Ahmed. He, for example, or I don't know how he got specifically into a negative risk to reward. I think it was TikTok, right? So, I mean, TikTok can also be a place of education. Who would have thought that? But yeah, he got into a negative risk to reward through TikTok, as far as I know. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ahmed, if you're watching. So, and I saw our CTrader trade has actually been tagged in. So that's how it's currently looking like. We have the AUD NZD trade. Oh, that's actually running. It's actually the best trade. And then the Euro GBP trade has basically traded into it right now. So that's also a good thing. So it's nice to have. Now, this pair is also interesting. It has been consolidating for 10 years or so, right? More than a decade. But this is on the monthly time frame, which also means that you can't really trade it like that because it has to consolidate on the daily chart. Like, ideally, it doesn't have to, but just ideally. So if we're going to go into the daily chart, these are going to be already like a couple of up and down trends. Best period is probably something like that, but this is also not going to give you too many pips, right? So I always measure it with 50 pips because all of this is already 300 pips. You would have definitely been out if you're going to take a long in that, but just as you get my general point. And only now it has been going up. I'm sure there's some kind of fundamental reasons, right? But I'm not really trading fundamentally. Of course, I'm looking at the news and all of that, but not really into fundamentals too much. Let me check AUD NZD. This trade is running, so I take profit. Actually, we like these two candles. I've previously said that probably we're going to trade higher. So what we did have, the guy who gives lectures saw his PNL with losses. You mean like when you're watching somebody on YouTube or what? I didn't really get what you mean there. I think we always have to explain a little bit of context, like when you're saying something, explain like a little bit of context, because I'm talking and talking and talking and I'm kind of getting lost because the live stream is delayed by, I think, like 20 seconds or something, and that 20 seconds kind of makes it confusing for me. But I'm also just not used to streaming, so it's just on me. So yeah, we have currently AUD and NZD running. Hopefully we can hit all of these, take profits, so we can basically start over the entire challenge with almost 20 bucks. And from there on, we're going to take it further and further and go into hopefully start our winning streak soon. However, in this case, right, because I'm trading because I'm taking multiple pairs, which is ultimately going to be more profit, but also lowering our win rate. So just because we're lowering our win rate, that doesn't mean that it's not worth, right? As long as it makes more money and the win rate is not so low that is, let's say, a 50% win rate, because with a 50% win rate, we all know what is going to happen. I'm going to quickly show you the back test. Hang on. I think I've already showed it into, yeah, I've already showed it into the Discord, but for anybody that's watching new, I actually want to talk about it a little bit. So going to get up. So what I wanted to say is that you are going to get into more losing streaks. I think there hasn't been a single time where we have lost 2 times. 2 times can happen, but we have never lost like 3 times in a row. The drawdown period is going to be more, but by the end you will also be making more money. And this is just 6 months. I've also have back tests. I think you have already seen that for anybody that is not watching you, where it's been 1 year or more than 1 year. This back test is just still ongoing. And I'm also doing the videos for the lectures and stuff. But what I wanted to say earlier is that we are not going to get as high of a winning streak compared to the year CHF, where we are very selective on every single day, right? This is where you can expect your 20, 30 winning streak. With this one, you're not going to have as high of a winning streak, but you're going to make more money, right? So I'm okay with that. And also, since it's just a flipper account, we need to basically be a little bit more aggressive. This is just my philosophy of it in that sense. So Abel Memo said, then I said, wait, even this theory lose? Then I prayed and started thinking outside the box and thought, how to not have as one thing lead to another. Introduced overnight effects, YouTube channel, and check the old message. That's why I didn't understand my message. Okay, now I get you. Yeah, that's how you got into it. Now, brother, I'm just new to live streaming. That's like my thing. I'm just not used to interacting with like a chat in a live scenario and also talking to it. And I'm also trying to basically talk the entire time, so it's also not boring for anybody that's just tuning in. Because who wouldn't really watch a live stream that's just going like that? Nobody, right? So this is quite boring to have it like so. That's why I also try to be a little bit more like just talk in that sense. Yeah, but I get what you mean. One thing leads to the other, right? So you're getting into one thing, you're thinking, okay, I don't want to get into a high drawdown. The next thing is going to be, how do I prevent this from happening? I need a high win rate. How do I get a high win rate? You know, one thing leads to the next, as you have just said, and this is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. Most people are not able to have this sort of connection, and that's why they're just doomed to lose, right? This is sort of almost their, I mean, being unprofitable is almost a choice, to be honest. Being profitable is also a choice. Now, of course, there's more nuances to it. Not everybody is going to get profitable within, their first month of trading, right? No doubt. But staying in this rat race of constantly just trading a high risk to reward is your choice. It's on you. For everybody that's watching and not into a negative risk to reward, that's on you. Now, preferably everybody that is already watching is already into a negative risk to reward, and I would hope so, at least with 5 people watching. Anybody else, just tune in, type in some messages. Are you already trading a negative risk to reward? I'm asking everybody. You. Yeah. So our UGBP trade has been hit. That's what I liked. That's why I also have to stay patient. A lot of different people, what would they do? They would just market order and they would have gotten a way worse price. So this would already decrease your entire risk reward by 0.06, which over the long term is significant. So that's why you have to basically not take the trade a lot of times. And this is why it's so important to also journal, backtest, and whatsoever. In my entire journals, I have already seen that we are going to get into a drawdown by quite a bit of pips, right? So it's already obvious that we're just going to get hit, right? Just based off data, not based off that I have a feeling that we're going to take out the candle low or anything like that, but just based off data. Data is very important. You have to collect your data and you have to be confident in your data. Which then also means that in order to be confident, you have to have the data to begin with, right? Without the data, you can't be as confident. So currently we're in these couple of trades. Right, so Abel Memo said, what made me successful at backtesting? I have never traded real accounts except this one time before negative risk reward. When I found strategy, I backtest it and I will fall after 30. And it will fall after 50 trades. Yeah, that's just what you do. Backtesting is, it's so crazy, right? It's not even a secret. It's not even a secret that backtesting makes profitable traders, but it is kind of the secret. This is really what makes people profitable. Now, of course, you need a strategy to begin with that is going to work in that sense. And you see, you and I are not even trading like the exact same way. You still have your own sort of ways to implement in the markets. And even my students, they're always going to have a different perspective, or not always, but there's never going to be a year, a full on year, where my students or anybody that is trading it is going to have the same view as me. And this is also something that makes a profitable trader. Having the same view was never the point, right? Of course, in the mentorship and also in the videos, I try to teach as much of my view as possible so you can adapt to it and you understand why am I taking certain trades, because it obviously works. But you don't have to trade exactly like me and have the exact same trades taken. Sometimes I'll be taking 5 trades and you only took 3 of them, but then the next week I'm taking, like, let's just say 2 trades, one was a loss even, and you took 10 trades and all of them were wins. So we don't have to see the market in the exact same way in order to both make money. For a year I was just backtesting. See, and that's exactly what differentiates you from the unprofitable trader. The unprofitable trader doesn't backtest at all, right? He's just believing that we have to forward test and that's already it. They don't understand it. I've really seen people there are really just forward testing. They are going onto the charts, right? And don't get me wrong, forward testing on its own is not bad or wrong. It's not a problem. But they're going in here, and then from here they're just going to take their position, and they're not even going to journal it, right? So let's just say they took the position and then they take profit, right? They're not even going to take their they're not even going to journal the position. Forward testing is just basically like a live back test in that sense, right? It's still kind of demo, and you're just testing the strategy if it works in the current market conditions. And it's not a bad thing to do, but if you're not going to journal the trades, then it's just useless information. Because also, this a thing outside of trading, and also something that I picked up from books and whatnot. Humans are not good at memorizing things. Now, of course, you're going to have that one person who is just very good at memorizing things. But over a long period of time, people are not good at knowing, okay, I lost or won, let's just say 10 trades, and like I just say, I won 100 trades and I lost 10 trades, right? If you're going to take 100 trades or 1,000 trades, a human is not going to confidently predict every single time how many losses and how many wins he has taken, because it's just way too much to remember. Simple as that. So we need to journal our trades. It has so many reasons and so many benefits. Funny story, one of my bro friends said that, why backtesting? The past is the past. Yeah, man. Yeah, people exist like that. How, what can I tell to you? People like that exist. I mean, I can't even explain it to words. The past is the past, so we don't even care about it. Simple as that. It's like, I don't know with what I can compare it. It's the past is the past. The past is the only thing we have to look back. The past is the only thing that we have to look at the data, to build off data, to build confidence is the only thing, right? So if you're going to, this is like another thing. If you're going to go 10 years into the past, 15 years, 20 years, and look at the market, so 2005 or something, then this is not practical because the markets moved a different way back then. So if you're going too much into the past, it's also not too good. But your friend was referring to, don't go back 2, 3, 4, 5 years into the past because the past is the past. This is so illogical. This argument has no logic to it. as a trader, right? As a general thing, as a trader, the past is your only advantage. Without having the charts to basically look at every single day, it's basically useless. And you don't have a guaranteed and proven way to actually make money if you have not looked at the things which you have seen in your backtest in that sense, right? So it's the only real secret, it's the only weapon that you have against the markets. Keep in mind, you are already competing with high frequency trading bots, with hedge funds, with institutions, but also with banks, with everything in that sense. You from your home with your monitor, right, with your PC, laptop, whatever it's going to be at the end of the day, you are already in such a disadvantage. You don't have all of these tools. You don't have a high frequency bot and whatever. Yet you are not using your only advantage that you have, which is looking at past data. Like, I mean, trading is not really for you, right? This is what I can tell to this guy from you. Just tell your brother, you are not supposed to be trading. Please stop trading. It's not meant for you if you don't understand this. If you understand this, join the fam, watch the videos. It doesn't even have to be mine videos, but watch actual good videos onto these topics, and then we can start talking. But like that, trading is not meant for you. Yeah, I'm just switching around a couple of pairs. I'm still waiting for that one gold guy. I've told in the previous live stream, right? There is going to be that one guy that is going to say, can you do some analysis on gold? I'm waiting for that one guy, and if that guy is going to be appearing, we all have to congratulate him. He's going to be hella confused. He'll be saying, guys, what are you laughing about? I just asked if this guy could analyze gold for me. But I'm waiting for that one, because there's always going to be that one guy that is asking, uh, yo, can you tell me where gold is going to go? It's never one of these forex pairs. It's always gold. I'm telling you, there's not going to be that guy that is asking, can you tell me where NZD/USD is going to go? Now, most people don't even give a shit about this pair. It's just that I like to trade also more niche pairs. But yeah, it's always just gold. Even Euro USD is, although it's probably the most traded and most famous pair in that sense to trade in Forex, it is not as often requested as gold. It's always going to be gold. Where's gold going to go? So what was your max win streak? I documented in the video, it was already a couple months ago. I think it was 32 or something like that. But I think I'm pretty sure it was you. I also answered to you in the comments. Go back to the video. I explained it there. I don't know the exact winning streak. I would have to go back to the journal and check that. But it was about 30 or something. Yeah. So not as high as your brother who went on a 44 win streak, but I try my best. This almost becomes like competition. See it as that. People who are trading a high risk reward, they try to basically go for. They're competing who is going to get the least losing streak. We're competing who's going to get the highest winning streak, right? For real. They are, for them to basically compete who is going to get the highest winning streak is unpractical, right? They might hit a couple of wins in a row, but we already know how that is going to go over the long run. But what about you? What was your highest winning streak? How's that looking like? No, so far I haven't passed 32. That was sort of my record. Haven't broken it since then. Maybe this year, right? There's more to come. Maybe later on this year when the market conditions are very favorable. But to be honest, I have to keep in mind, I showed it to you previously with the backtest, right? We're not going to have this high of a winning streak if we're going to trade this many pairs, because the win rate went from 95% to 86, which is still great. We're making more money after all. However, it's not going to be as significant as when we are just trading USDHF and being very selective, right? Win rate also depends on which account are we talking about, because I have multiple accounts, I have multiple funded accounts on all of that. And it also depends what account are we really talking about. Are we talking about this high risk account? I can already tell you we're not going to go on like like a 30 plus winning streak is not going to happen with this one. I'm being very realistic because this is a high risk account. Once again, if we're talking about personal account, yes, this is where it's more realistic, breaking that 33 win rate record. I wonder if I count to the live stream. Not sure. Like when there is some, like I'm watching the live stream, but just on the second monitor, and I wonder if I also count to the viewer. Probably not, I guess. Pretty sure I don't. Or correct me, I'm pretty sure that I do count, right? So that's like one viewer that's watching. Like currently we have 5, but I was just wondering if I count to that. Your time on charts is love. Imagining getting done in 30 minutes. Yeah, that's what we do. Like this, all that I'm just currently doing is more so, we can talk a little bit around together. We can exchange some ideas. We can talk about the current situation of higher R traders, right? Which we have previously done, this kind of stuff. But the analysis itself, you have seen it yourself, this took barely even a little bit of time. I am not sitting through entire London and New York for multiple hours, right? Multiple hours. People are watching the charts just to end up losing. Imagine that. You are watching the charts for multiple hours and you're still going to take a loss, right? Now, taking a loss is not the problem on itself, right? A loss is a loss. That happens in trading. But just the fact that you have been watching for so long just to lose money, right? So at least if I'm going to lose, at least I didn't spend multiple hours watching this, right? So yeah, this is also a thing that I implemented when I just started our trading. And when I got into a negative risk reward, because I was also working a regular job, like most of the people that are watching the videos, the stream, whatever, whatnot, right? And I noticed I'm not able to have the full value of my strategy because at that time I'm at work. So what I used to do, I just went to the bathroom. I said like I have some diarrhea problem, and then from there on I was just watching the charts. Now, of course, it is hard doing both of these things. It's hard doing trading but also working a job, and these two clash together, right? So one of them is going to suffer. If you're going to be like a good worker in that sense and appear to your job, then your trading is going to suffer. But if you're going to concentrate on trading, then of course your job is going to suffer. So one of them has to suffer in order for you to concentrate. Now, of course, the most obvious choice would be trading, of course, because at the end of the day, trading is what's going to give me the ability to leave the job. And so I had to go to the bathroom, and then from there on, I basically just traded. And so what I was about to say, my full potential was not being reached when I was trading London and New York session, because I also couldn't be away for multiple hours, right? I can only be away for like 1 hour max, maybe 2 hours if I got lucky, right? And if the setup just didn't form within those 1 or 2 hours, yeah, then I'm fucked. All right, because then I either missed the setup, right? Or I had to FOMO in or something like that. Of course, FOMO is not a good thing either way, even if you have missed the setup. But you see, trading a high risk reward creates a lot of problems. It just creates more problems than it solves. And this is also the reason why I've made it okay. I'm just going to go to UTC Standard Time, right? Most people are having time around this time period. I know that a lot of people are sleeping within that time, but I rather wake up. And being sleepy in that sense and being tired than not trading at all in that sense. So I rather sacrifice my sleep for a period of time while I worked a regular job back in the day, instead of having to sacrifice my full potential in trading. Yeah. That's also why I thought, okay, I have to develop something that goes beyond just trading that goes beyond just trading New York and London session. There has to be something that is repeatable. And here we are today. I guess. I really tried to stream on Twitch as well, but it was not working. I said that I also want to stream on YouTube Shorts as well. Like I want to do the whole thing, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Shorts. Have I named TikTok already? TikTok, basically any of them, and potentially even X, which I like to call Twitter. To be honest, to this day I cannot get used to calling it X. I still just call it Twitter most of the times. But I think that's also just a me thing, or maybe a us thing in that sense. Because let's just say that, let's say all of us that are watching the stream right now are going to have kids. Our kids are not going to call it Twitter no more, right? Because that's already outdated. It will just be like a thing. They're just going to see it in like a YouTube Shorts video. Did you know that X used to be called Twitter? And then all of us grandpas at that time, when we're older, we'll be thinking we already know that shit, right? This used to be called Twitter. But then they'd be like, wow, this used to be called like that. Let me ask that, right? It'll be that kind of scenario. So yeah. I had the same. I had like a Star. What's your view in crypto? I think it's the greatest scam ever. It's the greatest scam ever. Um, to be honest, I don't think that it's the greatest scam. Um, yeah, I'm also very off from social media. Yeah, man. I've also, before I did this thing, right, with sharing the knowledge, with doing YouTube and all of that, I was also never really on social media in that sense. I didn't really care about it. And if it, I mean, besides when it was to educate myself, when I was just starting to learn trading, anything in that kind of stuff, that was a different scenario. But when it was just sort of doom scrolling and watching like nonsense, like brain rot, this also was also never really my type of choice. Now, crypto, you said, personally, I don't really think that it's a scam. I think also that crypto is going to get back up. And personally, I also think that it's easy money in that sense for Bitcoin. But this is just for Bitcoin, right? I am not like a crypto specialist. We can of course apply the same logic that we already know with the daily time frame, with the entire FEGs, with the rebalances and all of that uh to the crypto pairs. But all in all, I don't think that it's really going to be a scam. It just takes time, and I think it has a different purpose than just day trading. Um, Day trading is possible. Once again, student of mine has been killing it in crypto and actually meme coins. But all in all, for me personally, I like to see it as an investment. So, I get in here and then I just forget about it. Eventually, if it goes for new highs, that's something that I start caring about. But before that, not really. But I also get when people are believing that it's a scam. I definitely get that point of view. Elaborate. What do you think about why do you think it's a scam? Why is it sort of so problematic for you? Next time I think I'm gonna start streaming earlier. Like just say at 0:30 or something a.m. or not a.m. I always forget that I have to talk in time zones or else people don't really understand it. So basically the time that we started on this stream, but just 20 minutes earlier, just so a lot of people already hop in, and then from there on, I'm gonna do the analysis. Yeah, I'm also not probably not going to be doing a. Did you see coins dropping down to 0.001 from 20 USD in 1 second? Yeah, yeah, I saw that. But that's sort of meme coins, trash coins, shit coins, whatever you're going to call that. This is not going to happen with BTC, right? At least I don't think so. It's also quite a little bit unrealistic that it's just going to happen like right to zero. But yeah, I saw that. That has happened. I know. This is why doing crypto is this is why, for example, I wouldn't really like to reinvest in like some kind of shitcoin. I think that is really the gamble. I'm not referring BTC. I'm saying meme coin. Oh, meme coins. Okay, okay, got you, man. Yeah, meme coins. I definitely agree. Yeah, BTC is different. Now, for meme coins, this is sort of the dilemma, right? I also believe that meme coins should not really be traded, or I mean, okay, we have to first differentiate. Are we talking about investing or like literally day trading? Because let me start from the bottom. Day trading meme coins can be possible. Investing meme coins simply just gambling, right? Because it's sort of a dilemma. I also believe that meme coins are more of a scam. I mean, that's what they made for, right? They are made to be a scam. It's called a meme coin after all. But my student has been killing it with the meme coins, and I sort of really appreciate that, and I am not going to neglect that. But he's also day trading. He's not investing into a meme coin. At least I don't think so, right? He's not investing it. So day trading is fine, right? Can be done with experience. And here, like my student Ghostwhale, he has already been in the crypto space for a long time, right? And he has specialized on that in that sense. So that's like a different thing. But me personally, I've never specialized on crypto as much, right? I am seeing it just as an investment. I get it in and then I forget about it, and eventually at some point in time I'm just taking it back, and then yeah, I'm just waiting for the next pullback, such as in here. To be honest with you, we are going to watch this stream like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 years from now. This is going to get back up. I don't know where it's going to be. Bitcoin is almost guaranteed that it's going to get back up. I don't know how sort of big the pullback is going to be. We might go for these lows. I cannot tell that to you. Once again, I'm not trading it. I'm just investing into it. Uh, but we are going to get higher from here once again. Once again, don't know when, but it's going to happen. So, Abel Memo is saying your trading makes sense. I'm saying for the investors, you have no idea how many people have lost their money by just buying and hoping it will move to the moon. 100% agree with you, brother. You know, investing is just nonsense to do in crypto, definitely. So then smokers, yo, smokers, who are you actually? I think you are in Discord. You call Quacho, aren't you? Like I can be mistaken, but that's you, aren't you? So you said, what do you think of Larvan X? Is that like a meme coin or what? So I guess like that. Yo, what am I supposed to say about that? It's not even tradable. Look at this. It's delisted. Do you know Gene Francis? He is native R trader. Oh, I don't know him. Send it to me in Discord. I'll be interested. You know, Google it. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna Google it real quick. Connecting traders with investors. We allocate investors and seed capital to build your own track record, regularity umbrella. It's actually a nice thing. I mean, here I can also show it to you guys, so you can also see it. So this is what he basically recommended: 10 years experience. It's like a thing to show a track record and all of that, right? Probably a cool thing to have. I will look into it later a little bit. Man, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna look later into it a little bit more, and maybe that's something interesting. Are you asking that because the other stream you were asking about, can you trade for me or something like that? Is that the reason for it? And also answer the question, man. I'm not going to let you get away with that. You know, answer it. Are you Quacho in the Discord? You can't run away from me, man. Now of course I want investors. It's just like I'm not going to like look into it more just in the stream, do with the login and stuff. I said, I'm going to look into it, but just not now. But appreciate it. No, I'm the guy that called you Unk. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, I got you. I think you were like another guy. I've also seen you for quite a long time now on the channel. Appreciate you watching. I I I remember you said, uh, I saw you taking a loss, so I'm not going to buy the membership. I don't know if that was like a joke or what, but I don't. I even told you it's no problem. You don't have to buy the membership. Just watch the regular videos. They're also helping you a ton. It's not needed. Um, it's a shortcut, right? No, I'm not the guy. So Abel Memo said, made me sad the truth got folded from almost everyone. Got folded. I was playing. Yeah, I get that. Maybe sad. I sort of don't really understand what you mean by about that. Which one? Like about the crypto thing that we talked about earlier with the meme coins. Was it that one? Yeah, I figured out that you was playing. I was thinking of that. That guy's probably just trolling or something. Probably just a troll. But this type of comment I could expect from somebody being serious, like that is serious. They be saying, I don't want to buy it because you lost. Like, what are you supposed? What am I supposed to do? Like, never lose or what? No. Do you want to move to Miami? Why not? Yeah, at some point. Like forever, moving there forever is like one question, but for like a period of time, maybe a couple of months, maybe a weekend or that kind of stuff. Yes, but like moving completely, not really sure about that. But I also believe in Miami there's more opportunities to connect with people in general. Mm. However, I don't really think that in this day and age it is really that needed to connect with people and sort of have like go in a city just to connect with people. And I think in this day and age, everybody can connect with anybody in that sense through the internet. I mean, just look at this. We're in the stream right now. You're seeing me at my home with this entire thing, right? And this is just basically live stream. You're connecting with me even though you're on the other side of the world. So, Abel Memo said, "Where you from, Store?" I'm from Germany, brother. But I mean, I live in Germany, but I'm also from Russia in that sense. So I can also speak Russian. Smoker said, yes, Jeff Bezos moved there for a reason. Probably you're talking about taxes. That's why I assume. But I don't even think Miami is the best place for taxes. Is it? Nah, it isn't. Definitely isn't. Like the first that comes to mind is Dubai. But being tax free and setting this all up is not that easy. People believe, okay, I'm gonna set up my business in Dubai and that's it. It's not like it's not it's like not a hard thing to do in that sense. It's not impossible, but it's definitely also not something you do overnight. That takes time. You still have to do a lot of paperwork. You have to get regulations and all of that kind of stuff. And besides that, I also think that Puerto Rico is also a bigger choice, better choice, because it's easier to set up, even though there's also a bit more taxes compared to Dubai. I think Puerto Rico has like 3% or something like that. I mean, let me look it up real quick. Definitely has more than Dubai, that's what I know. So it's 7% it's saying in here. But with taxes and with legal stuff, there's always going to be Germany is awful. Germany is really awful. I agree with you there. Like, I am not even going to neglect that. But why do you think that Germany is awful? Although I agree with you, what is your reason for thinking so? So, but with taxes and with everything, right? And especially being a trader, hang on, I never thought about moving. I mean, I thought about moving a couple of times, but I never really made that clear decision. Okay, I'm just going to move, and that's it. That sense. What I was about to say is that with taxes and everything like that, there is always going to be. So, for example, Google says it's 7%, but then if you're going to do the paperwork and then there's going to be 10 different criteria to hit that 7%, for you it may be going to be 8% or 5%, whatever it's going to be. There's never like a set in stone because when there's something this official, there's always going to be differences. So, Germany's awful. I never thought about moving, yeah. Then Smoker said people don't have entrepreneurial mindset in Germany. I agree with you there, and there's a reason for it. There's a clear reason for it. Because, mm, I mean, if you make money, so Abel Memo saying, I mean, if you make money, if your place is safe, I mean, why start grinding again? Yeah, and that's like a different thing for why to move. At least for me personally, it would be a different reason to move. It would be like two reasons for me personally: taxes, and also just people, right? The people are also playing a big role, which we're going to go back to what Smoker said. People don't have an entrepreneurial mindset in trading, and it is really like that. And there's a reason for it. The reason for that is because in Germany the taxes are so high. For most people, it's not even worth going full time and basically having a business and paying the taxes, because the taxes are going to eat up so much of your profits that it might not you might as well just work a regular job, because being an entrepreneur and having your own stuff, and this right now goes beyond trading, right? This is for a restaurant owner, a business owner, whatever it's going to be. The taxes are so high, it's a lot of the times not even worth starting a business, because after taxes you might as well get the same amount of money that you would have gotten by just working a regular 9 to 5 job. So it's not even worth it for a lot of cases. But also, this is like the first thing, but also just sort of, I mean, with school system, we all know that the school system doesn't want you to be an entrepreneur. The school system wants you to go your regular 9 to 5 job, because else society is not going to work. But yeah, in sort of Germany, there's like a very big thing, I know. And also the next thing is, a lot of kids, they think they have that entrepreneurial mindset. They believe they want to be a business owner and whatnot. But what ends up happening is none of that actually comes true. Why? Because they're not putting in the work, right? It's also like a big thing, but this is universally, not even in Germany. I think this is the case for a lot of people. So, yeah. So Abel Memo is asking, how much tax do you pay from your profit? The thing is, I'm not allowed to speak about that because I also have a tax advisor, and we talked about that, and like that's kind of the problem. Why I cannot get into very specific, at least on the stream. If you want to ask me like in private when we're on a call or something, then I can tell to you. But like on stream, my tax advisor saying, don't do this kind of stuff. Probably pays 30 to 40%. Yeah, that's like a realistic range. 30 to 50% you can expect. Like just Google real quick, because the specific taxes that I pay are not going to be the same as, let's just say, you're going to pay when you also live in Germany, right? As I've told previously, there's always going to be a different scenario depending on how much do you make, how much profit is it going to be at the end, um, all this kind of stuff. You have expenses, right? Because equipment, for example, like this PC that you're seeing right now, this is also a trading expense, not fully because it's sitting at my home. If this would be in like an office, this will be a different scenario. Because if it's in the office, you can fully 100% pay it off from the tax. But if it's sitting at home, of course, nobody's going to believe you that you're only going to use this thing for trading. Of course, you're also going to use it for everyday things, or such as in my case, I'm also cutting, right? I'm also cutting things, I'm making videos and all of that. But yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jesus, Abel Memo saying, Jesus, man, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking. This is so crazy to basically live off trading when you're um when you live in Germany, right? It's not that you have to make a significant amount to be able, at least in Germany. Like in a different country, it wouldn't have to be as much. For example, if you live in like Romania and you get a 2K payout, you're set for multiple months, paying rent and actually being in a comfortable rent for multiple months. You cannot do anything at all if you live in Romania. Euro, for example, it's a different story because in Romania they have RON. Or this also probably goes for Ethiopian, right? For your country, Able Memo. If you get like a 2K payout, this is going to set you up for a very long time. But in Germany, in my case, is not even going to set me up for 1 month, to be honest. My current living conditions, paying for equipment and all of that kind of stuff, this wouldn't be enough over the long term. So Smoker's asking, brother, you haven't posted a payout in forever, show us something. I haven't showed in general, it's not even about payouts. I haven't showed in a long time anything in that sense. Also personal gains or anything like that, I can show you the journal. It's not a big problem. I might even do that as well in future videos, but I've sort of not use it anymore as motivational in that sense, because I think showing off payouts in the entire time, that's giving off the image of, okay, this guy's really just showing it to flex on us in that sense. And this also going to give the image of, okay, he wants to basically sell us a mentorship. For anybody that's basically doubting whether or not this is working, they have to just try it out themselves. Try out the exact strategy. Does it work for you? Probably will be if you're going to do exactly what I do in these videos. And if not, then maybe it's just not for you, right? But I used to be showing more payouts. Watch the other videos, and if you are really extremely willing to, I might as well also just show payouts. Even right now, it's not that I'm not getting payouts. I get where you're coming from, but how do you license? Do you need license to trade? 1 second. I'm also just getting so confused because I'm starting off one topic, but I'm reading a chat. Able Memo, do you need license to trade? In Germany, you don't really need a license, but you sort of get applied. It's not like a license, but you have to apply yourself to be like an entrepreneur and that kind of stuff. But it's also not a big cost. How do they control? How do they know if you are a trader or not? I mean, you can of course like hide your taxes in that sense. We all know that can be done, but I wouldn't really want to risk it in that sense. It's not really worth doing because you're going to get into a lot of problems in Germany. If you're going to avoid taxes, you're going to get in a lot of trouble, and I wouldn't really like to mess with that. That's also like a reason. This will be number one reason why we able to basically move out. This is the number one reason. Number two is only the people, but number one is really just the taxes. So I'm really thinking about that more and more recently. So Smoker is saying no, it will motivate us. Yes, it is going to motivate us, but it's not my goal in that sense, right? I am doing these educational videos, and I don't think I have to constantly post a payout in that sense. Go on Twitter, there's going to be people who have 10 times the amount of payouts that I have, right? Whether or not that is sustainable or not, that's a different question. I'm not saying that they are not sustainable. They can also be sustainable, right? Because this is just out of the blue. I'm not talking about somebody specifically right now. But if you want motivation, then definitely go to X, go to Twitter. There are going to be a hell ton of people who are making 30K payouts, right? I'm being consistent. I'm having my multiple prop firms, and each one of those are going to get like 1K, 2K, sometimes 3K payout. This is the type of thing that I'm doing, and often also even just below 1K. But it's consistent. It's consistent for a very long time. So yeah. I could imagine smokers being cement. At least show us your P&L every month. Yeah, I might do that in the next stream, brother. Remind me of that. I might be doing that next time. On. So Abraham was saying, I know it will be a problem, but how do they know? When you're, I mean, somehow you have to use the money, right? So either you're going to deposit it into your bank account, PayPal, but at the end of the day, it's you have to use the money somehow. Crypto is not going to buy you groceries, right? So a lot of the times the first thing is going to be, yeah, just send it in crypto, but crypto is not going to buy your bread and butter, right? So you have to have a way to withdraw the money and also use it. So that's like a thing. And if it gets to your bank account, then it's already able to trace, right? You can already trace things once they go into your bank account. Where does the money came from? Why does it come to your bank account to begin with? What is the reason for that? What is that kind of income? You know, things like that. It's not so easy, and I wouldn't really recommend that. Probably just moving to a different country in that sense. Alright, guys, then I think I'm gonna end the stream right now. We stream for like 1.5 hours. That's more than last time. I am going to try to stream on Twitch, YouTube, and whatnot, but for right now, I'm must end the stream. So, smokers, one last question saying, does it affect your psychology if you show us payouts? Yes, also that's a reason. If I'm showing you payouts, that means I have to deliver and keep on delivering payouts. If I'm going to show a payout right now, the next, not even you, perhaps it is also going to be you, but the next guy is going to be asking, yo, last week showed us a payout. Where's the payout from this week? And this is going to continue, right? I don't want to be basically tied to making a payout every single week, right? If I myself decide to show you that in the future, because I'm not saying I'm never going to show that in the future, you know, out of the blue, I'm just deciding, okay, here is a payout for you to be motivated or whatever it's going to be for you at the end of the day, then yes, that is going to happen. But you having that like schedule of, okay, showing a payout, and then the next week somebody else going to be asking, yo, you just showed us a payout last week, where's the payout from this week? This is problematic for me. I don't want to be tied that, because that also is going to be telling to me that I need to constantly have payouts, right? Which is then going to mess with the psychology, bad traits, and well, for what? So, last couple of questions, and we're actually going to end the stream. So, I know the problem. How do you affect percent? Okay, so Abelman was saying, never stop streaming, otherwise I will come and fight with you. Man, really appreciate it, man. Kind words. Serious, keep it up. Man, I appreciate it, brother. You too. I hope everything is going to go well this week with your trading, with your family, with your health. Health is the most important part about everything in life. If your health is bad, then trading is also not going to work out. Nothing is going to work out if your health is not good. Even to my enemies, I wish you the best, right? Even somebody that is hating. There has also been people that are just hating in the YouTube videos and whatnot. Even to them, I wish the best about health, right? So yeah, I'm going to end the stream right now. See you guys next time. Bye, bro. We love you. Appreciate it, guys. I also love you. Much love. Thank you for the support. And see you guys next one.